It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition.
Welcome back to the Evan edition. I am your host, Evan, and I am joined by the enigmatic, the artistically exceptional Roque from Roque Inc. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, Evan. That was quite the intro there. I'm not awake enough to accept that many adjectives.
That is getting me, just introducing you is getting me awake. So thank you, my friend, for being here. How's your week been?
It's been okay. It's been good. I just streamed yesterday on my channel, so had a good week of comics. So it's been exciting. Like there's been some good stuff that came out, and it's always I always wonder, like every week I'm like, will I really be able to talk about comics in another, next week for another week in a row? And you always can, just like you can with like pop culture stuff.
It never stops.
News, it never stops.
And I never want it to. And it is Friday, so with another week down means more geeky things for us to talk about. And we got some good stuff to talk about. I saw The Long Walk, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a spoiler-free review. Scarlet Witch may be coming back, but not as we expected. She might be a part of the Magneto family in Genosha.
Yeah.
Marvel Studios is reportedly hiding secret Avengers Doomsday characters, and we're going to talk about who we think they might be hiding. The Batman 2 villain has never been done before in a movie, really, Matt Reeve says. We're going to try and figure out who he's talking about. Daredevil Born Again Season 3 is officially greenlit. We got a first look at Star Wars Starfighter with Ryan Gosling. I keep wanting to say Last Starfighter, but that's not the case.
That would be awesome.
Zaslav is getting his bidding war because it seems like Netflix might be in the mix to put a bid on Warner Brothers, which makes me extremely scared. So we got a lot of stuff to get through. But let's start with this before we get into it. As you know, one of the titans of independent filmmaking and just Hollywood royalty has passed away at 89, and that is Robert D. Redford. Mm-hmm. And, to be honest, I don't watch a lot of Robert Redford stuff. I recognize his importance when it comes to indie filmmaking with creating the Sundance Festival, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Yeah. And of course, the villain of Winter Soldier, because I do come from that, geeky background. And yeah, I just wanted to honor Robert Redford passing away, 89. He lived a long, good life. And, in regards to starring in a Captain America movie, at the time, it was interesting to get such a big name like Robert Redford. They did it with Anthony Hopkins playing Thor's dad, but I really felt like
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford much later on, and Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer, but I really felt like Robert Redford was the green light for these storied actors to finally be like, you know what? I want to play in the sandbox. If Robert Redford is going to do it, one of the indie darlings of multiple generations. And so that's what I really recognize him for, because I knew he was such a big name. And he's been in such great movies. He was in Sneakers, right?
Yeah.
Sneakers, right. Which I love. So I guess I do like some of the older Robert Redford. There was the one with Brad Pitt, that espionage film. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. Hang on. I'm just
gonna... look it up. So, but I just think what he did for comic book movies, he really pushed that forward in the sense that he showed these, storied infamous Hollywood royalty that it's okay to go and play in the sandbox of Marvel or DC. It doesn't have to be, kind of continuing in the tradition of Marlon Brando and Superman.
Yeah.
He is one of those Marlon Brando types that was like, I want to play with those characters as well. So I thought that was really cool of him to do.
The Natural is also a classic Robert Redford baseball film. Yeah.
Yeah, the big, bad.
I mean, you're probably a lot more positive than I am about it. I think it's just like the money. I'm sure they offered him like a good amount of money, and he's at the sunset of his career.
Yeah,
when at the time he filmed it, but it does add a little bit of like, I mean, superhero movies were the hottest, biggest money makers at the time. So why not throw your hat in?
That's
be
true.
A part of that.
Avengers just hit like insanely well.
Yeah.
And then 2 years later, Winter Soldier. So no, I get it. Money is a big thing, but let's keep it whimsical and happy. And
well, I think for us that we're old enough that we crossed over with his career.
Definitely.
He wasn't he's a known name for our generation, right? So it does add a little bit of like legitimacy and, a stamp of approval of like, well, he's not gonna. I joke about it, but he's not gonna sell his soul for any old movie, right? So he probably saw something that
Spy Game.
was interesting. Oh yeah, Spy Game with Brad Pitt. So yeah, The Sting is another one I'm just looking up here. Out of Africa.
He's been in so much stuff. So
yeah,
I just wanted to just, briefly touch on it. If there's, any movies that stick out to you, be my guest. But I think we've said enough.
yeah.
I don't want to make light of it because, what he has done for indie filmmaking and how much indie filmmaking has been under siege in a sense with these, big companies snatching up these historic studios, which we're going to get into later in the show. I think it's, more resonant than ever that such a champion of independent filming has passed away. So rest in power, Robert Redford, and thank you for your movies, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay. With that down, I wanted to get into this. So, as stated earlier, I saw The Long Walk this past Tuesday. If you don't know, Tuesday is a great day to save money on movie tickets because it's a little bit cheaper. And this, I was hearing positive reception. I was hearing about the actors in it just crushing the performances. And so I was really excited to go see this movie. And I can safely say that this movie is fantastic. I had a extremely good time. It is a mix of Stand By Me and Hunger Games. And it is directed by Francis Lawrence, which is the Hunger Games director. So that makes sense. But really, what stood out to me in this movie, and if you don't know, this is in some kind of alternate history where after the war, we're in like a huge debt crisis and poverty runs
this is based
rampant.
Off a Stephen King short story,
It is a
right?
Stephen King novel.
Yeah.
And basically there is a contest every year where someone from each state volunteers to do the long walk, and you walk continuously until the last man is standing. And if you can't walk anymore, you get shot and killed and you're out of the race.
Can you mall walk? Can you?
No, you need to be at 3 miles per hour.
Oh, really? Wow.
Or more.
It's like a Back to the Future limit right there.
Yeah. Where we're going, we need roads.
That's right.
And so, in the cast is incredible. I mean, David Johnson from Alien Romulus fame that we talked about recently.
Yeah.
Cooper Hoffman, a new and upcoming actor. His name is Tut Nyoit, who plays Art, which is fantastic. Ben Wong, who is from the recent Karate Kid movie. Mark Hamill, of course, We have Roman Griffin Davis from Jojo Rabbit fame, Judy Greer. So there is a lot of up and coming, really exciting actors, and they just take full advantage of these characters. This takes place in like an maybe 1950s kind of era. And so it's really this sense of this is do or die for these kids, and under this immense pressure of do or die. And if you do finish, if you are the sole person, you get one wish and you get all the riches in the world. That's what they say. And so on this road, there are these ones that take it very seriously in the sense that this could be their last days, and they want to appreciate the people that they're surrounded with in these circumstances. And they form some bonds that may last, a day, a few hours, because you never know. You might get a Charlie horse and you might get shot and you might get killed. So it's really interesting, the bonds that are created under these circumstances. And it feels like, in the sense of your World War II buddies, where you're in these circumstances where you don't know if you'll live or die the next second. And so you're bonded by this. And it's a really beautiful thing. And you see these relationships mainly between Cooper Hoffman's Ray and David Johnson's Pete. And they are extremely good in this movie. And they have such great chemistry between them. It is really, really great to see. And it is what drives this movie home. Right. And so I had a great time, and it was such an interesting watch because you're on the walk with them and they're going like 50 miles, 100 miles. They're going through the darkness of the night. They're being surrounded by tanks with bright lights at night, and they're counting and giving you warnings. If you fall behind 3 miles per hour, they give you a couple warnings until you're shot and killed on the road in a very gruesome and brutal way. This is a brutal movie. Don't get me wrong. Like they show everything. And so I had a really great time with it. There are some surprises along the way, but the dialogue is really what carries this movie through. There isn't any changes of scenery. We are on the road for a very long time. And don't get me wrong, because we travel through middle America, and there are some extremely beautiful sets behind them as they're going. But because of the brutality of what's going on, it's such an interesting mix of like, wow, look how beautiful America is. And then, wow, look how extremely crazy America is to have people go through this contest at the enjoyment of the country watching them. And so I would say that I had a really good time with it. It's a great time in the theater. I know the person that I went with, we kept, jaw to the ground when these moments happen, and, asking, or saying, wow, this person is really crushing it in their role. And so that is what you want from the theater going experience. And I can't highly recommend it enough.
Was it worth it seeing it in the theater? You know how it's like, there's certain movies that you need that theater experience. I think we had that conversation one of the other shows that we did. How is this one? Because I can see this one like getting a lot of gasps and like,
I would say for me personally, it was a great time in the theater. Sans the crying baby that some random person brought into the theater and then wouldn't take them out. Luckily, this was like in the beginning, like the very, very beginning. But the baby was like crying and they were like not taking them out. They were like this. I'm like, no, you don't get to like take a baby in the theater and then be like, hold on, let me see if I can get them to sleep.
I think that was part of the experience. That's the 4D experience. You paid for it. That's actually like a paid actor.
Being like, you have to leave. You have to go. Like,
yeah.
And there was a point where like the person brought the baby out, but the family stayed. And then I went to the bathroom really quickly. And when I got back, the family was gone. So for a second, I was like, am I in the right theater? And I was like, oh, thank God they left. Okay, good. So besides that, it was a fantastic theater going experience. One of the many of 2025. So I would recommend to see it in theaters with a group of people because it is a really, really great, fun brutal time in the
Yeah.
theater.
Yeah, I can see that. It definitely gave that vibe off of watching the trailer, at least for it.
But I'm telling you, David Johnson is a star. And I kept repeating this name to you when we talking about Alien Romulus, but this man is so good. I cannot believe it's taken him this long to start like his rise, because he is what, 32, 31, 32 around there. I believe he just turned 32 in September 4th. So
93.
yeah, so this dude is just so good. Every time I see him now, I'm like, this is who needs to take over as Black Panther.
Oh, wow.
Like, he gives these Chadwick vibes where it's his own persona and soul within the character, who is maybe a little bit different than who he is, but you can see like he infuses it with a little bit of just like his morale and who he is as a person. Yeah. And it's such a great combination, and it shows so well on the screen in whatever he does, whether it's a robot in Romulus, whether it's a worn, torn type veteran person who came from the streets on the long walk. He embodies these characters and still gives a sense of who he is at the core in these characters. And it's such a beautiful thing to see. And it's so reminiscent of Chadwick. And so I really think David Johnson should definitely be the person to take over. I thought it may be Damson Idris, but that guy is too pretty. I think David Johnson is such a good actor, and he embodies what Chadwick brought to the role. And I really think he should be the next one, whether it's a T'Challa Jr., a T'Challa from a different universe, whatever it is. I really think T'Challa needs to live on, and David Johnson is the person to do it.
Is his name in like rumor mills as far as a possible successor?
In the interviews with The Long Walk, he has been being asked if Marvel has reached out to him many times. So
people are seeing it too, right?
People are seeing it. People are seeing it. And then on top of that, Philip Seymour Hoffman's son, Cooper Hoffman, continues to be a rising star as well, whether it's, Mystic Pizza or Saturday Night Live about, Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night. He is just such a good actor. He's not at the level of Philip Seymour Hoffman. Like, that is just one of the greatest actors of our generation, and rest in power. I miss him so much. But to have his son have some kind of remnants of Philip Seymour Hoffman in him, but have his own, his own unique persona in acting. It's a really beautiful thing to see, and he is really good in this as well. So
nice.
It was awesome. And then Ben Wong, I think it's Wong. It's spelled W-A-N-G, but I think it's pronounced Wong. So people in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, but
I don't think it's Wang.
I don't think it's Wang. That's why I'm trying to pronounce it the correct way. But he is really good. He has this very New York accent that might rub people the wrong way. Like, hey, I'm walking. I'm not going to do it, but
I'm walking here.
Yeah. Like,
that would be amazing for that movie. I'm walking here.
I'm walking here. You ever see Rick and Morty? It's like, as we say, I'm walking. He is really good as Hank, this very New York guy, and man, he is another star that's just like on the rise. Whatever you feel about Karate Kid Legends, which I heard not good things, he himself is an extremely good actor. I watched him a little bit in American Born Chinese.
Oh yeah, it was based on a comic.
Yes, based on a comic on Disney
a Netflix.
Plus.
Oh, was it Disney Plus?
Yes, Disney Plus. I watched the whole thing just because stellar cast. Ke Huy Quan, Daniel Wu, Michelle Yeoh. I mean, and then Daniel Destin Cretton directing 2 episodes. Like Lucy Liu directing episode. This bad boy had every, Chinese born,
Asian
actor,
American, yeah.
Asian American on it. And it was such a beautiful thing to see, like all creative sides, whether it's behind or in front of the camera. And so I was like, and the comic of it all, the fantasy of it all, the Monkey King of it all. Like I had to watch it, and it was okay, but he is so good in it. And so, man, he is another star to watch for sure.
That's nice. It sounds like this movie is like a springboard for all of these young actors to really kind of step,
100%.
kind of rise up. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'll have to go check that out after I watch Fantastic Four.
Yeah, Jesus, you could just wait now. It's gonna come on
wait.
Disney Plus any moment now.
Superman's coming out today. Sorry, didn't mean to derail, but Superman's coming out today streaming.
Yeah, it is. Have you
on HBO?
Have you rewatched that since it?
No, not since the theater. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited to watch it again.
Okay, you gonna try and watch it this weekend or anything? Or?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie, man. It's just it's hard with my dog. He goes crazy, and Crypto's
when you
in
watch
it.
the movie? Oh, when he watches stuff with other dogs?
Yeah, he goes wild.
Are you kidding me?
I mean, with Eagly last night, man, he was just going wild. I'm like,
really?
dude.
Is it the sound or the picture or both?
The picture and it's both. It's both. But no, he watches the movies.
That's amazing.
It's a phase because like when we first got him, we watched like Homeward Bound, and he was like so excited. We were trying to watch like dog movies with him, and he was like, but now he barks like crazy. Like, yeah. So
that's awesome.
All right. With that down, I wanted to move on to this. So, as you know, we have Avengers Doomsday coming up in like 16 months, or whatever it is at this point, and next December. And so there's been all these rumors of who could be in it, and is Scarlet Witch coming back? And, the last time we saw Scarlet Witch, she was the villain of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
And she brought down, the temple or whatever. But, Eagle Eye fans say there's a bright red spot and she could have survived. And so people are holding out hope for Scarlet Witch surviving. And now we're getting some rumors that Scarlet Witch might be coming back in Avengers Doomsday, but not the Scarlet Witch that we know. This comes to us from comicbook.com. They say a new rumor about Avengers Doomsday provides some fresh details on how Scarlet Witch, Elizabeth Olsen, could return to the MCU with some major ties to the X-Men universe. If there's a character who has been in a Marvel movie, then chances are they've been linked to an appearance in Doomsday. And so they say it's, long been expected that at least some version of Scarlet Witch will return to the MCU. And Doomsday provides the perfect opportunity to do that with a multiverse story that could allow for one or more variants to appear, if not the MCU's main Wanda. According to a new Q&A from the Cosmic Circus, Alex Perez, apparently this could be happening. While he notes it's not official and it's absolutely needs to be taken with a few pinches of salt, it's possible that Wanda's return will be in the form from the X-Men universe. He says, in an unofficial capacity, I heard we'd be getting a Wanda variant from the X-Men universe that we'll see in Avengers Doomsday, which is a universe where Magneto is finally ruling Genosha as he had always pictured it. And we'd have like a royal family type of situation with Eric, Pietro, Wanda, and Polaris. This is an idea that has been pushed since Multiverse of Madness and then Deadpool and Wolverine, but it never feels like the right fit because it feels like it takes away from the overall plot. However, the main point they would like to explore with is the father-daughter relationship with Eric. What this means for Scarlet Witch and the X-Men. This twist, if it happens, and that's a very big if, but it's fun to think about, would bring Scarlet Witch somewhat in line with the comics. The character's origins have changed a lot over the years, But the most notable retcon came with the reveal that Magneto was the father of her and her brother Pietro, aka Quicksilver. When Wanda and Pietro were first introduced to the MCU back in 2014, that wasn't something that Marvel could do because, quite simply, they didn't have the rights. Magneto, the X-Men, mutants, they were all off limits, but that no longer is the case.
Mm-hmm.
So, Rocky, I want to ask you, what do you think of this rumor of Wanda being a variant in this movie and being part of the Magneto family, the royal family that rules over Genosha? And also, do you think that it could fit within this Avengers Doomsday movie that we're getting?
I mean, when I saw that rumor, I was like, heck yeah, because that is like Scarlet Witch. As long as I've been into comics, that was the version of Wanda that I knew, that she was Magneto's daughter. And then I was just reading up really briefly before we before we connected this morning. I was just briefly reading on the history of the comics and like where it went. And there's many stories that were like, oh, she is, and then she isn't, and then she is, and then she isn't. But the strongest ones in my mind, and the ones that I remember the clearest, was when she was her daughter. That's exactly her
100%.
origin. The very first appearance of her, she was his daughter, and Quicksilver Pietro was his son. So I love that. I think that could be a great catapult into the X-Men stories that they are going to tell in the future, because there's huge stories with Scarlet Witch. There's like House of M. There's
100%.
All these kind of
No
big
more
events.
mutants.
Yeah. And I think that tying her, which is coming off of all the Avengers movies, right, and the popularity and the momentum of that, and tying her with the new phase of including X-Men now into this world is a logical connection point, and it makes sense, at least from the original comic stories. So I really like that idea, whether it's a variant or like, I actually didn't like her, or I didn't like what they did with her character in the Doctor Strange movie. I thought everything that they built up with WandaVision and how incredible that series was, they just kind of like shot it out of the cannon, threw it away. I was like, what? Like, I loved her character so much. It was so nuanced and heart-wrenching and painful. And then at the end, she's like this evil baddie. And and I think this might be a way of redeeming that a little bit, whether that's a variant or however they explain it. So I don't know the mechanics, but I think the idea of connecting her as Magneto's daughter could be really cool.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think if you use Scarlet Witch in this way as Magneto's daughter, part of the royal family, ruling over Genosha, and it is Elizabeth Olsen, this also allows you the opportunity to finally play with these characters and have this crossover from like the MCU to other worlds and show that there is alternate versions of yourself that are extremely comic accurate and that are connected to the overall tapestry of the characters within Marvel itself. Yeah. And so I think this is a great way to express that. And it's very easy to do because, as you know, we're going to get Ian McKellen again. We're going to get Patrick Stewart, and Genosha plays a huge part in the comics, especially in the story of Magneto himself. And so I think it'd be a really cool way to show that there are versions of Elizabeth Olsen, Scarlet Witch, that are living that more comic accurate life. And I think this would be so awesome to see, especially like it says, exploring the father and daughter relationship.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What we've seen recently with Scarlet is the mother-son relationship with her and her kids. Yeah. And I really think it would flip it on its head to see her as the daughter to a powerful mutant and what that means for her. And there's a lot of story to play in there. I don't know how much time they're going to have within Doomsday and the overall story arc, But I think if you're going to show us the world of X-Men, why not mix the characters that we've seen before within the MCU into the world of the X-Men that we've seen before to make this more of a cohesive story? And I think this is a really smart way to do it.
Yeah, I think it could be great. And her acting chops, like before she, like her very first movie that she was in, was it the first Avengers? I was like, oh, can she really pull off this role? And she, she had all her like hand motions and all this kind of stuff. But like as they developed her character and her relationship with Vision, and then to do that Vision Wanda series, I was like, oh my gosh, like she's amazing. And so I think opposite of opposite of a Magneto who has all the gravitas of like a Shakespearean actor. I think she could really hold her own and really carry it. So it could be cool. It could be really cool.
And when you're talking about these actors, Ian McKellen, whether it's Aaron Taylor Johnson or Evan Peters or Elizabeth Olsen, I mean, these are insanely good actors, to your point. And so to see them all together, and then to see Genosha on the screen and have like the royal family ruling over them. I mean, there was so many storylines in the comic books that were very important to Genosha and the safe haven that was for mutants. So I think to just touch on it and show people that it's possible to see this down the road would be a great way to tease it within Doomsday. But I would like to see more Genosha moving forward once we do get more X-Men movies within the MCU.
Yeah, it'll be telling. But yeah, this is a great bridge. Is she confirmed in Doomsday?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. And we're gonna talk about that right now, my friend.
Nice. You like that?
Yeah.
I gave you that low hanging fruit right there.
Great transition. So to Rocky's point, we saw Chair Watch, but speculation has run rampant on who else we're going to see in this movie. And apparently there might be another Chair Watch, or Marvel's going to keep it very close to the vest of the other characters that are going to be in Avengers Doomsday. This comes to us from the Direct. They say Avengers Doomsday is reportedly hiding many secret characters from all corners of Marvel. Ever since Marvel Studios held its first scrolling chair reveal in March before starting production, it was clear that it wasn't everyone who would be showing up in the 2026 blockbuster. Most notably, the studio admitted 4 actors who had been all but confirmed to return in Avengers 5, including Chris Evans' Steve Rogers, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and more. Doomsday has now been in production for 6 months, with reports that it is wrapping up very, very soon, ahead of reshoots to come. And yet, despite the reports that the 27-chair-long cast reveal was only half of those expected to appear, there have been no major confirmations in limited leaks since production began in the UK. Fans have yet even to glimpse Robert Downey Jr.'s new MCU character on set. We did get a tease from the Shanghai celebration of what Doomsday might be looking like, although we haven't seen anything to confirm this is actually the Doomsday we're going to see in the movie Doctor Doom. During a September edition of the Cosmic Circus monthly Q&A, Scooper Alex Perez claimed that Avengers Doomsday is hiding some secret characters. While the Scooper stated he really wouldn't know when the full cast will be revealed, he would place bets on December 18th, 2026, which is the release date of Avengers Doomsday. So they are holding this very, very close to the vest. Teasing Doomsday's secret characters and actors, Perez hinted that some of these characters are new, old, and legacy. He stated, I really wouldn't know. The safest bet is honestly the day of the movie comes out, because even if they do a second chair reveal, there's still some characters Marvel's keeping secret until the premiere. Some of these characters are new, some of the characters are old, and some are legacy. And he said the goal is not to reveal them until the release of the movie. Even if I did mention who they were planning to involve, we'd be stuck in this limbo of will they, won't they for the next year or so. But most of the characters that haven't been officially announced have either been rumored by scoopers or YouTubers without any real confirmation. So I want to ask you, Rocky, who do you think could be appearing in Avengers Doomsday that we have not been officially confirmed? And then I'll give you my top 5.
Oh gosh. That's a tough one. I don't even know all the characters who have been confirmed, let alone.
That's okay.
Give you...
That's okay. Why don't you just give me, like, who do you want to see in Avengers Doomsday? Me? Dun, 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 dun. No.
I mean, I think I think people, like Chris Evans, I know he's done. He's supposedly done, but I think people kind of want to see him one more time or like one more appearance in it. Maybe that's too much, like been there, done that. But he's such a cornerstone of the MCU.
Yeah.
And was so likable, so lovable, that character, right? So I some sort of nod or something, I feel like you just need to say like, oh, Cap is he's still there. He's still around, that guy. He doesn't have to have a big part or anything like that, but who else would I want to see? Oh my gosh. I don't know. I'm a little nervous with like just hearing you read out that blurb. I'm a little nervous about how many characters are going to be crammed into this movie. And like, not only the ones we love and we've seen and we know, but like you said, all these secret characters. It's going to be like,
Secret
and then,
Wars.
yeah, and then this, and then this, and then this, and my head's going to explode.
It's funny because how many times can the MCU show us that an overstuffed character movie does not take away from the movie itself? Because every time, whether it's all the way back in 2012 with Avengers, too many characters in one movie, it's not going to work. Infinity War, too many characters in one movie, it's not going to work. Yeah. Endgame, too many characters in one movie, it's not going to work. Time and time again, leading up to the movie, people are scared. It's going to be overstuffed. It's going to be too many characters. And time again, most notably, the Russo brothers show us that if the story is fluid and it's good and it's solid, that it will not feel overstuffed and the characters will make sense to the plot. So I hope that is the case for Doomsday. Of course, they're doing more and more every time, and you're wondering, when is the bow going to break? But time and time again, every time we feel that the movie's going to be overstuffed, they have proved us wrong.
I'm going to say Kazar. I want to see Kazar.
What the heck? What are you doing to me? It's 11:11, dude. Make a wish. Make a wish for Kazar.
That's right. Random. If I don't see Kazar in this movie, it can only be as high as a solid B.
What about Gladiator?
Gladiator I don't know how Gladiator would be awesome.
Man,
I love that character.
That action figure when I was a kid was just like the sickest looking thing ever. The mohawk.
But mohawks were in back then. So you gotta admit, like, we're in a different time where
you need the mohawk. Yeah.
I don't know.
You gotta go all in.
I don't know. That was definitely of its time, Gladiator was, but he was great. He was a great character.
All right, this is who I think, okay?
All right, hit it.
These are my top 5, and it's hard because there's a lot. So I think Scarlet Witch, who we just talked about, will be in the movie. I think Chris Evans, Captain America, or another character might be in the movie. I think
Wait, you mean another character that he plays or another character?
Another version.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hell, Hydra. I think so. Scarlet Witch,
Yeah. Chris Evans.
Chris Evans, Doctor Strange.
Okay. Wait, he's not
Deadpool.
confirmed?
Nope.
Doctor Strange's not confirmed? Okay.
Deadpool.
Oh, Deadpool. That would make sense.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man is not confirmed for Doomsday.
No. But remember the 5th of November. No, remember when they announced it. I don't remember actually now. Now I need to remember. I don't know if the date was moved yet because originally Spider-Man was going to take place between Doomsday and Secret Wars. Now it's taking place before, which means that it's more likely that it will lead into Doomsday and that Peter Parker will be there. No. So those are my top 5 that I think will be in the movie.
Oh, Kitty Pryde. I'm going to say Kitty Pryde.
Which one? Elliot Page? And it'll be Kit Pride.
I know. No. A new one, like with a dragon, with Lockheed.
All right. Since we're on, Avengers, Wolverine, X-Men.
Yeah.
I want to show you something from my childhood, okay?
Okay, this is going to be awesome.
Parents.
Nice.
Let me go in my collection.
Okay. Is this a toy? Oh, it's a book.
All right.
What? Is that like? That's a lot farther than I thought it was from behind you.
I messed up the illusion. All right. This was
what?
When I was a kid, okay?
Oh, look and find. Amazing.
This was like in I Spy.
Yes.
But in the X-Men world, like specifically like the Claremont, Chris Claremont.
Yeah.
X-Men 97.
97, right
97.
There.
But you know what I mean? Like,
well, you see that Jean Grey outfit, and immediately that's
100%.
Yeah.
And that's we need to see that.
Yeah.
That for sure. But like in the mall,
Jubilee in the mall.
Everyone,
classic.
Jubilee in the mall. One of my favorite introductions to a character, pretty much. In space.
Wow.
Can you see this?
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
That's amazing.
And so I found this. I was like,
so what? They tell you to find Gladiator.
So this
drinking
says,
tea.
The X-Men need the following items to move on from here.
Wow.
See if you can help find them: robot janitor, robot guard, robot waiter, tree, main housing
tree.
unit. It's actually potted plant. Gateway's time warp.
Gateway. The one Aborigine mutant.
Yeah. Gateway's time warp, dude. Oh man, this one's awesome. The Sentinels.
Yeah.
Which have not been done right at all in the movies, which they will definitely do right in Doomsday.
They've got to.
I guarantee
they've got to.
It's gonna be something crazy on the X-Mansion. I thought there was one as a kid that was like Genosha. I always got it mixed up though, because remember, Genosha's not also. Remember, there was like that one like foresty world, like with like the lizard.
Savage Land.
Yeah, Savage Land.
That's Kazar. That's where Kazar comes from.
That's where Kazar comes from. Yeah, that always messed with me as a kid. I'm like, what is this? This is wild.
Yes.
This one.
No, but it was awesome because then you would get them in their like ripped up Conan outfits. Oh, that's awesome.
Like plugged in. Like,
wow. Does it say who the artist was on that book? It's probably like a studio, like a group of people.
Illustration coordinator, James Janes. Inker is Dave Simons.
Nah, I haven't heard of those.
Colorist is Janice Parker, Michelle Marrero de Cicho.
They must have been in the like consumer products division or something.
And they tell you the places. So Danger Room, Genosha, Shi'ar Galaxy, Sentinel's base, the Savage Land, and
Savage
more.
Land. There we go.
And you got the cut.
Well, that's awesome.
This thing, man.
That's great. I love that you still have it.
I know. I'm like, did I take this from the library or something? I don't know.
What? That's right. I've done that. I mean, I might have done that move before.
It's like bent a little bit from like being stacked with other books, but yeah, I had to show this bad boy.
That's amazing.
All right.
That reminds me of like a kid.
I guess I accidentally pulled this out too with it.
Wow. Wow.
Too, I think.
What issue is that?
This is 221 of Avengers. Who will be the newest member? Power Man, Spider-Man, Invisible Girl.
Genius.
Daredevil. Like,
that's not Rom, is it? No.
Rom.
No kidding.
Rom, dude. How wild is that?
I love that Spider-Woman outfit. That is the best costume ever.
Look
love
how
that Spider-Woman.
like the pages are gonna like fall off.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Color still looks pretty good though.
Yeah.
But like this is the exact representation of Thor, Iron Man. Like this is who, in my mind, like it doesn't get better than this.
Nope.
This representation
that's
on the page.
Yeah.
Wild.
That's awesome. Welcome to my world, Evan. This is my world.
We can always do more of that. I'll just go back there and we could talk about it.
Yeah. It reminds me of like the look and find is hilarious because it reminds me my son had this children's book and it was like a reader, right? But it was Star Wars. So me being the good dad, I'm like, you got to learn about Star Wars, son. Like, here's your first reader. And you read through it and it had stills from the movies, the original 3 trilogy. And at one point I turned the page and it said, and Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father. Yes. And I was like, oh, how could this be the reveal for my son? Because the reveal for me was like in the theater, like, like freaking out at that cinematic moment. One of the best cinematic movies of all time. And he was going to get this spoiled by this stupid reader. So you know what I did? I chucked the book.
I thought you just ripped the page out.
No, I threw the whole thing out. I'm like, you are not reading this. I don't care if, you don't learn these vocabulary words. Like, that's okay.
Something I did take from the library, actually.
We totally derailed. This is amazing.
This is gonna make the episode go so much longer. I was like, we gotta do under an hour. It's like, no, not with us.
We derailed it. Yes.
Episode 1 when I was a kid. But I just thought like
those cross reference those like die or not die cut, but like cut see through are amazing.
I used to love these.
Yeah.
Like, these were
I would pour over those. Yeah. That ain't easy.
The pod racing scene, obviously, like, and so to show you the different pods
and their shapes. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, the sounds of the pod in the movie, like
the sound design was brilliant.
Definitely like one of the highlights of the prequels is the pod
for
racing
sure.
scene.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Or Sebulba's like it was so scary, right? And then it was like
I hated him I was like, this guy's a jerk.
Yeah, amazing.
Okay, let's get back on track because we got some great news. As you know, for the last year, man, the fans have just been like kind of harping on Matt Reeves. When are we gonna get the Batman 2 script? Is it not going to happen? Is it canceled? Are they just going to do the DCU Batman and throw away what they did with the Batman with Robert Pattinson? Well, that's not the case because we know now that the script was turned in and several people are starting to read it and they say that it is fantastic and it is incredible. And recently, our boy Matt Reeves, the director of the Batman, talked to Josh Horowitz and gave us some tidbits about who the villain could be. This comes to us from IGN. They say the Batman 2, which starts filming early next year, currently has a release date of October 1st, 2027. If it makes that date, the sequel will arrive 5.5 years after the Batman. We know Robert Pattinson will reprise his role as the moody Caped Crusader, and Colin Farrell once again play the crime boss Penguin, although it sounds like it's a minor role this time, which it was last time, but he did have a show, which was fantastic.
So good. That show was so good.
But who will play the main villain this time around, and which character from Batman's Rose Gallery has Reeves plucked from the comics to bring to live action? In an interview with Josh Horowitz, one of the GOATs, Reeves kept his cards close to his chest, but did explain his thinking on the new villain and issued a tease that has sparked all sorts of speculation among fandom. I had a lot of ideas, and then Mattson Tomlin, who's my writing partner, we began the process of this by doing another deep dive into the comics, exploring the ideas that I had, Reeves began. He gave me some ideas that he had, and we sat together and we watched a lot of movies, honestly, and not all movies that are from the realm of Gotham, just to explore this story, because I knew that the way the movie ended, it was leaving us on the precipice. And also the way events sort of happen within the show, the Penguin, that there is an exploration to be had. And one of the explorations for me was to do something that pushes even further into the character of Bruce Wayne, because the first story is so much about Batman. Let's say we get to make 3. I have no idea. But if we get to make 3, I always wanted the movies to be focused on his character. Once you get past the origin tale, which we didn't quite do, but we did something that referred to his origins, then you start telling the Rogues Gallery story and that character's arc. And I never wanted to lose Rob at the center of these stories. And so that is really what we set our aim on. And so picking the right villain that digs into what that does, that goes into his past and his life. And that was what drove that discussion. I won't tell you where we ended up, but we're super excited about it. And I will say it's never really been done in a movie before. So we're excited. That is a lot in a little bit at the same time of what Matt Reeves has given us. And so, my friend, I want to ask you, based on the comments that Matt Reeves has provided us via Josh Horowitz, one of the GOATs of interviews that always asks the questions of the things that we want to know, who do you think he could be referring to when it comes to not losing the crux of Bruce Wayne and his history and where we could see that going forward?
Yep. That's where I'm going. That was a lead in. Yeah, I think my guess is Hush. We're right in the middle of Hush 2, a series that launched with the original creators of the original Hush storyline.
Hush,
Jeff Loeb.
Batman.
Yeah, Loeb and Jim Lee, who is the grand poobah of comics at DC, creative officer at DC or whatever it is, vice president. I don't know. Yeah, anyway, the top of the top. Yeah, and one of the greatest, to ever do it. So I feel like based on Hush's storyline and who he is as a character, it goes hand because he's pretty much the polar opposite of Bruce Wayne, or what would happen if Bruce Wayne made the wrong choices and went the opposite path. So I think just based on listening to that interview with Matt Reeves, not wanting to lose the Bruce Wayne story, they kind of tapped on it a little bit in the first movie, but this gives it a lot more depth. Because you're still going to be talking about their childhood, I'm sure, between Hush and Bruce Wayne. I forgot Hush's alter ego's name. Is it Thomas?
Thomas Elliott.
Yeah.
You like
and
that?
Yeah, it's amazing. You've got it. We've like he said, we've never seen him on screen before, or in the big screen before. I think that like the other villains, the other rogues gallery I was processing, I was like, oh, maybe Clayface, but Clayface is so effects heavy. You would have to do it so effects heavy, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like that's kind of the hallmark of what Reeves is doing with this new run on Batman. It's like more, it feels more like ground level, like practical kind of like street level Batman, detective Batman, as opposed to fantastical superpowers that he's going against. So I think Hush, you do him well, you do his design well. He doesn't have to do,
well.
he doesn't have to have like super effect, an effects heavy kind of existence on screen. And just his dynamics, he also ties in with a lot of the villains that Batman, the normal villains that are in the Rogues Gallery. So he can kind of loop in some of them too. And then there's the whole like Jason Todd aspect with his character as well. So,
and we talked about Robin. Remember, if Robin could work in this story, and there's a great Robin connection when it comes to Hush in this storyline.
And one of the guys one more thing. Okay. One of the creators that I follow on X is a guy by the name of Rob Liefeld, who was one of the founders of Image Comics. Yeah. And he actually posted about
creator of Deadpool.
Yeah, that's right. Creator of Deadpool, Cable, and Youngblood. He posted on X and he said, "My vote is Hush." So he is the biggest comic fan, one of the biggest comic fans out there and creators. So, I think he has a good beat on what could be done as well. So, yeah, I'm thinking it's Hush.
I think you're right. I would say this. So I think Hush is the perfect villain to introduce in the Batman 2, based on Matt Reeves saying, I never wanted to lose Rob at the center of these stories. And so that is really what we set our aim on. And so picking the right villain that digs into what that does, that goes into his past and his life, that is what drove that discussion. When it comes to Hush, Thomas Elliot and his family are deeply tied to the Wayne's family. And as we saw in the Batman 1, there is a lot of backstory and history that comes with the Waynes, the Arkhams, which is from his mom's side of the family, that are extremely tied to what we are seeing go on in Gotham currently. On top of that, Thomas Elliot and his family, they were casted out. And they were kind of betrayed by Bruce Wayne's family. And so Hush has an extreme vendetta against the Waynes. And so as we dive deeper into Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne finally, and we finally get an establish of how important Bruce Wayne is to the other side of Batman, because don't get it twisted, both of these characters, the Batman and Bruce Wayne, are what is the essence of this character. And as we dive deeper into Bruce Wayne, what better character than Hush to really mess with who Bruce Wayne and what he means to Gotham and what Bruce Wayne means to the Batman in general. And I think that is a great way in. And so I would be really excited if they were able to use Hush in this way in the next movie.
And he's I say relatively new. I can't remember when the first Hush series came out, but it was a while ago already. But, when you think of the Rogues Gallery that has been so tapped into all the versions of Batman in the movies and the TV series and whatever, we go through Joker, Penguin, Two-Face, Catwoman,
the Riddler,
and again, Riddler's tied to Hush as well. Yeah. But all those characters, right? Those are kind of the core. And Hush is one of the newer ones. I feel like he will bring in the younger generation into the kind of Batman fandom as far as the movies is concerned.
And I feel like it's a fresh breath of air or whatever. How do you say?
Fresh breath of Hush air.
Because like you said, he is newer and he hasn't been used, besides an animated movie.
Yeah.
Which the Riddler was Hush
at the end of the weird. Batman, at the end of the Batman, they hinted at, was it Joker, right? Like an end
Well,
scene or something?
Joker is in it, but he's not, like Matt Reeves has said, he doesn't plan on having him as a main villain anytime soon. It doesn't mean that by 3, he is the main villain. I mean, it is the Joker. Like, he's gonna be in there in some capacity.
Yeah.
But I think he's really trying to like separate what they've done in past movies and really have this stand on its own. And so I think Hush is a great way in. On top of that, I think something else that is extremely tied to the Waynes and Bruce Wayne in his past and, the elites of Gotham is the Court of Owls. So I really think we have not seen the Court of Owls in any movie before, which also ties into what Matt Reeves is saying. And this is another way to connect it to Bruce Wayne's past with both of his parents, but also who Bruce Wayne is now as this socialite, elitist, wealthy person of Gotham, and how he can infiltrate this group as Bruce Wayne. So we're spending a lot more time out of the Batman suit within Bruce Wayne, trying to understand what this group is, how they control Gotham, and how it's affecting the people of Gotham. And so I think using the Court of Owls is another great villain that hasn't been used on screen. That is a great way to tie into who Bruce Wayne is and who Batman is moving forward.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That was a great storyline. And I think I saw an interview with the actors from the Batman, like when they were promoting the movie, the first one, and they were talking about the Court of Owls of like, oh, that would be so cool if it was in the movie, or is it, will it be in the movie? So, yeah, that could be, I can see, I mean, I know that Court of Owls, they had that one, was it, the character was named Talon, I think, the villain in that one. But Court of Owls, I love it. Like it's a shadow group, or like, ingrained into the society. That feels like tone wise could play into what they've already done in that first movie, as opposed to we have one bad villain that you're going to fight in this movie.
He said that he's been watching movies with the other writer. He didn't say Batman movies, you know what I mean? And so obviously with the Batman 1, it has heavy ties to 7. It feels like, 7, which is extremely well-known and fantastic movie. And so I'm
David
wondering who he could, what movies he could be watching. And so if it is, it reminds me of like, not like, like the Thomas Crown affair, or, something like that. That's like tied into like these socialites, these mass balls and stuff
Eyes
like
wide
that.
shut.
Yeah. Thank you. Like Eyes Wide Shut, like, and so
Creepy.
I could really see him kind of shifting the tone a little bit of what 2 could be, and watching those kind of movies to really dive into these like elitist socialites world, and how Bruce Wayne could fit into that and to infiltrate that. And so I think that is something that I could definitely see happening in the next movie.
What's up, Timmy Mello? Good seeing you in the chat.
What's up, Timmy? Yeah, I saw the absolute Joker. It's extremely demonic and crazy. So that's who I think, could be it. I think Hush. I think it has to be Hush or the Court of Owls, based on what he's saying. It's not going to be fantastical. It's not going to be Dr. Freeze as we originally thought, because
How can you get better than Schwarzenegger? Come on.
There's a cold front coming, whatever.
Everybody chill.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah, so I think these are the top 2 choices, and I think they would be fantastic.
Pretty cool.
That falls in line with what has already been set forward in the Batman.
Nice.
Okay. With that down, I wanted to move on to this. So, As you know, with Disney Plus, the shows on Disney Plus, when it comes to, Marvel, Star Wars, they have been hit or miss, to put it lightly.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when it comes to Marvel, one of the more, prestige, best superhero shows is Daredevil, that was originally on Netflix. And then, the rights had to be reverted back to Disney before they could start using Daredevil again. And then we heard that they were going to come out with a new season of Daredevil, but it wasn't going to be the same Daredevil. Foggy and Karen weren't going to be in it. It's going to be more of a courtroom drama. And there was an outrage, so much so that in the midst of filming, they decided to halt the entire project and go back to the writing board and add all the ties in from the Netflix series. And then we got Daredevil Born Again, which came out in March and had overall very positive reviews. Well, as you know, Daredevil season 2 was already filming at the time that the first season was coming out. And a few months ago, Charlie Cox made a comment that this might be the final season. And then Vincent D'Onofrio said, I don't know what he's talking about, because there's definitely a good chance that we will have a season 3. Well, it is official. Season 3 of Daredevil Born Again has officially been greenlit. And this comes to us from IGN. They say Brad Winderbaum, head of streaming, television, animation at Marvel Studios, told IGN of the series renewal in an interview this week, following earlier confusion over whether the project would wrap up after its sophomore run. He said, in terms of Daredevil, yeah, we greenlit it for season 3 and we are shooting next year. Before its release, Daredevil Born Again had been one of Marvel's most anticipated TV projects. A revival of the beloved Daredevil series on Netflix, Marvel Disney Plus series once again stars Charlie Cox as the lawyer vigilante Matt Murdock, Vincent D'Onofrio as arch rival Wilson Fisk, aka Kingpin. And as we know, for season 2, Kristen Ritter's oh man, I just blanked on the name. Kristen Ritter's Jessica Jones will be appearing. So it seems like we're getting more of the Netflix Defenders returning, which might leave the door open for more members returning in the future. Additionally, Winderbaum also has said that Eldon Henson's Foggy Nelson, who gave a brief cameo in Born Again's reshot it pilot episode, will appear in some capacity, and there's a popular fan theory over how he might return. So, Rocky, I didn't get to ask you about this. I'm assuming, based on the shaking of the head, that you did not get a chance to see Daredevil Born Again season 1.
No, I did not. You know what? What's ironic is Daredevil Born Again, the comic, the graphic novel that it's based off of, is one of my favorite Daredevil stories of all time. And so
I have the book.
Yeah, I don't know, like watching
books.
the series, watching the series, it's always been on my list of like, okay, I want to watch it, but I don't know, I never got around to it. Even the original season 1, I didn't watch all of it. I just watched like spot episodes here.
God, what are you doing, bro?
I don't know. I'm not a real nerd, actually. I'm not.
You're lying to us
lying.
this whole time.
That's right.
Does this sound good? Does my mic sound good?
That sounds great.
It got messed up with the books when I pushed it out of the way.
It's good.
Okay. Well, let me just tell you, as a big
So did it end? Did Born Again end on a cliffhanger?
100%.
Okay.
A huge cliffhanger. And so in the second season, it was already being shot while season 1 was coming out, because with that rewrite, going back to the board, putting in the ties into the Netflix series, there was a lot of time, and so they got to rework the story. And then I think, because of this, Daredevil Born Again season 2 will be much better because they didn't have to film a little bit and then go back and then rewrite it and all this stuff. Now they're off to the races. And so, yes, season 1, in my opinion, was a very, very good start. And it did feel like season 4 of Netflix's Daredevil. It had, as you can see from the picture, the Punisher was in it. They did not nerf the violence in the movie. It is in the show. It is extremely violent, especially when it comes to the Punisher parts. And, the way that they play Matt Murdock and Vincent D'Onofrio and how they're, two different sides of the same coin, they played with it in such a good way, cutting back and forth from the two characters, leading from them kind of pushing away their personas as Daredevil and Kingpin, and then slowly coming back to it throughout the series, which I think was done in a very, very well-written way. On top of that, I don't know if you know this, but the showrunner was actually the showrunner of the Punisher series on Netflix. So he has ties to these characters, specifically Punisher, and to that world as well, which I think lent really well to telling the story of Daredevil. So I am very excited. I thought, for good or bad, because I know some people were like, this is not my Daredevil, like blah, blah, blah. I thought for the circumstances that it was in production to what we got was really good. They brought Bullseye back, which is a continual thorn in Daredevil's side, which he is in this as well. And the dude that plays it does it so well, and they're giving him a lot without giving him that many scenes in it. He doesn't. He's not. He
was in the pilot, right? He was in the first episode, right?
He's in the first episode, and you'll see him show up in the end as well.
Okay.
And
I saw the first episode.
And he will have more to do in season 2. And then, the way that it ends, I mean, if you haven't seen it now, I'm sorry, but the way that it ends is that Kingpin has New York under lock and key. There is a lockdown, and he is on basically having his squad patrol the streets, and Daredevil needs to come up with a team that will help fight it. This vigilante task force is strolling the streets and keeping people on lock and key under, strict curfew. And people were wondering, oh my God, is this going to play into Thunderbolts? Because that was coming out right after. I was like, nope, they didn't even mention it. So doesn't seem like there's going to be much crossover with this show. But Vincent D'Onofrio still is so good as Kingpin. Charlie Cox is the quintessential Daredevil. John Bernthal.
Yeah. That guy's like straight out of the comic book. Oh, the figure?
Yeah.
Nice.
That is the John Bernthal from season 2 of Netflix Daredevil holding the helmet of Daredevil. Awesome. So you have all the pieces there. You have season 2 in the can, and they're going to start shooting. So they're full steam ahead with this. They like what they see. They like the overall reactions of the fans, even though the viewership was not that high. But that is based on a lot of the lackluster shows, like previously stated, that have been coming out. But they know what they got in these characters, in these actors, in what they've seen storytelling wise. So I'm extremely excited for Daredevil Born Again season 3.
All right. So confusing, right? It's like, it's actually season 2. Isn't it season 2 for Born Again? But season 3, oh no. Or they already had 2 seasons. It is a season 3 for Born Again.
So like I said, they were filming season 2 while season 1 was ending. So season 2, it's already coming out exactly a year on March this coming year, pretty much. That's like the, the date that typically they think is going to come. And then while it's coming out in March, they will be filming season 3.
Oh,
so they're not wasting any time. It isn't these like, we're going to take 3 years between seasons like all these other hit shows. Like, no. They know what they got and they're going. So that makes me really happy.
Nice.
All right. With that down, I wanted to move on to this. So, as you know, it has been, almost 7 years since we had a Star Wars movie in the theaters, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's
As
crazy.
you know, Star Wars has become a staple of Disney Plus straight to streaming when it comes to their shows. And we've had some hits like the 2 first seasons of The Mandalorian, the amazing award-winning now Andor, and the lackluster Acolyte, Kenobi,
Boba Fett,
Ahsoka, Boba Fett. Oh, this list goes on and on.
What's the Jude Law one?
That was not bad.
Oh, really?
Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton
very
Crew.
good, actually.
Really? Okay.
I like that you can have a more kids-friendly Goonies type show and then have a very serious
Andor.
war-torn world within Andor. That is how you should do it, and I hope they learn from that. But we haven't gotten anything on the screen, and Star Wars needs to be on that darn movie screen. So we are getting one, and we're getting one next year, and they're filming right now. And we got our first look thanks to Sean Levy. And this is our first look, and this comes to us from Deadline. They're reporting that Sean Levy posted this picture to his IG, an early look at his Lucasfilm title, Star Wars Starfighter, with Ryan Gosling and actor Flynn Gray on the set in the Mediterranean Sea. His quote on Instagram stated, "Somewhere in the Mediterranean Sea, hashtag Starfighter." This movie is starring Matt Smith, Mia Goth, Aaron, Pierre, that's Mufasa, and Amy Adams. They are starring opposite Gosling in the movie penned by Jonathan Tropper. As previously reported, Starfighter isn't a part of the Skywalker saga, episodes 1 through 9. But that said, it does take place 5 years after the events of episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. The film is set to hit theaters finally on May 28th, 2027. Rocky, I want to ask you, how do you feel about Waterworld 2?
Waterworld. That's exactly what I thought when I saw that. When I was like breezing past like some news, I didn't even connect that with Star Wars when I first saw it. I was like, oh, they're doing Waterworld again? Okay. So, you know what? Like with these teaser images, I just take it with a grain of salt. Like
right,
you really don't. I mean, it's not giving us much. You got to admit, right? It's like bad hairstyle and we're on water. We're on some water planet, water scene, you know.
Right.
So, and there's a kid in there. There's always a kid in there. So, you know, I have no idea. It doesn't really give me much to latch on to. It doesn't feel Star Wars to me necessarily until somebody said, hey, this is from Starfighter.
Right.
So yeah, it's cool. It's not like I'm like, boo, it's going to be a sucky movie. It's just one image, but they're not really giving us that much.
Yeah. You know, when I first saw this image, I was like, I can't wait for Waterworld 2. This is going to be sick. Kevin Costner.
This is going to be sick.
But what I will say about this photo from on the set of Star Wars Starfighter is that we're getting practical sets. We're on location. We're in the Mediterranean Sea. And that makes me happy because using the volume too much really has hurt a lot of these Star Wars projects. It looks fake. It takes you out of it. The texture of the film or the project itself doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel lived in. Mm-hmm. And so if anything, this picture is showing us that they are out there. They are on location and they are doing the work. And so just this picture alone makes me very happy that they are moving away from the volume and moving to practical on location sets to really give that texture back to what made Star Wars so original and so lived in and so great. And
How
so
how do you know they didn't do that shot in the volume? It's
Gotcha.
possible. It's possible.
impossible. Well, he said the Mediterranean, and I'm gonna trust Sean.
Okay. You're such
He
a
said
fan.
hashtag Mediterranean. No, I'm just kidding. So, do I want Starfighter or do I want the last Starfighter reboot? That is the
Ooh, that's a good poll right there. The last Starfighter has not been tapped to its full potential.
because the owner won't give it up. He won't let
Yeah.
someone else do it.
Yeah.
I really,
Maybe
really
that's
love that movie.
Yeah, that original movie. I was the right age when I saw that movie.
I bet.
Yeah.
I wish I was, but you're never the wrong age to see that movie. You know what I'm saying? So, I take it what you will. This is our first real on-set photo. We got the scruffy nerf herder, within Ryan Gosling. We got, seeing it through the kids' eyes, this world that we're going to be introduced to 5 years after the lackluster Last Jedi. Or no, Rise of Skywalker, whatever those terrible movies are. So anyways, this is our first photo. Drop a comment. Let us know what you think. Does this photo excite you? Are you happy that they're filming on location? Apparently, Rocky doesn't believe that it's on location.
I don't believe anything. Is that really Ryan
I don't
Gosling?
believe anything anymore. So drop a comment below. Let us know what you think. Drop a comment below and let us know what you think for everything, because I've been speeding through it. I've been forgetting to tell you guys. Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. We want to hear your opinions. We value your opinions. Timmy, we value your opinion. Yes, Star Wars, the rent is due. They need that money from the theater, and they need to put something out quick.
I think the last thing I'd say about it is I think a water. It's interesting because Star Wars.
World?
You immediately connect Star Wars with the desert, right? Because so many iconic moments. Yeah,
Tatooine.
Yes, take place in like a deserty kind of world. They did that water world for Jar Jar Binks in episode was that 1 or 2? But that was kind of their take on doing an underwater thing. They did the world with those long-necked aliens. I'm blanking on all those aliens' names. The ones that made the clones. Yeah, the one that made the clones, and it was that entirely water planet. So this is a different take, So okay, but I think that's part of the reason why you don't really feel like it's Star Wars. Yeah. When you look at it. So yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be cool.
We'll see. Now I want to end this on some happy news. As you guys know, Warner Brothers has had one of the best years in theater history. If you look at this list, they had F1 in the theaters, Final Destination Bloodlines, Sinners, Minecraft, Superman, The Conjuring Last Rites, Weapons. All these movies have made a ton of money, and they still have one battle after another, which I think is going to be really, really good and win a lot of awards. This is the year of Warner Brothers. And when you are having
DiCaprio one? The DiCaprio one? Is that okay?
And when you are having a stellar year, what do? You sell high. And that is exactly what Zaslav is wanting to do. And apparently there is a new bidder that could potentially be in the game, and that is Netflix. As reported last week, Paramount Skydance is reportedly putting a bid into buying Warner Brothers, which shot the stocks sky high. But what does that mean for moviegoers? Well, it seems like this has been in the making for a while, because Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav has been setting the stage to sell the company. And the outlet adds that he wants a bidding war, and it seems like he might just get what he wants. If you recall, years ago, there had been talks of Zaslav's master plan to split up Warner Brothers for a sell where he would retain Discovery potentially. And it looks like it might be unfolding this way, or it might be unfolding that the whole thing is going to go. The latest from the Post said that David Ellison Skydance is preparing a multi-billion-dollar offer to acquire Warner Brothers. And now we are hearing that Netflix is in the mix atop some other suitors like Amazon and Apple. This, my friends, is called the death of cinema.
The end. And scene.
I want to ask you, Rocky, based on what you're hearing, regardless of Paramount buying it, how do you feel about Netflix buying Warner Brothers?
I am of the mindset of I'm not a big fan of all the kind of conglomerations that, like when Disney bought Fox and Marvel and Star Wars and all that, I was just like, it was, I feel like from my point of view, a tiny point of view of being in the creative field or entertainment field, it's like when you get rid of competition and you put it all under one envelope, it like hurts the industry a little bit. Like I get the money making and the business side of it, but as far as the creative aspect, if you don't have all these competing companies that are vying for audiences and you're all like in the same camp, you know what I mean? It's like, why would Marvel won't compete with Disney? Because they're all in the same camp. And similarly, so it's like, as I see these corporations just get bigger and bigger and acquire this and acquire that, I'm just like, all right, I guess, I don't know. Like Netflix was exciting because they were doing their own thing, but now for them to acquire Warner Brothers and just leapfrog into being the next competitor with the big Disney conglomerate, I'm just like, all right, I don't know. It doesn't excite me.
If Netflix buys Warner Brothers, this will be the death of theater going. Netflix has a model that solely relies on streaming.
Yeah.
They have had movies in the theaters because their hands were forced by the creators and the artists that made those projects, but they do not want their movies in the theaters. They want their movies to their streaming network.
Yeah.
And if they buy Warner Brothers, we will start seeing DC products on there, Harry Potter, more Harry Potter shows, even though Warner Brothers is already doing that, Batman. They will dilute these products till there is nothing left. And all those theater going experiences that I told you in the beginning, whether it's Sinners, whether it's Bloodlines, Final Destination, whether it's The Conjuring, Minecraft, which almost made $1 billion, all those experiences are going to fall by the wayside, and we will have no more theater going experiences when it comes to the content from Warner Brothers. And that will be a very, very sad day. So I think that is horrible. If it has to be someone between between Paramount and Netflix, I would choose Paramount. I don't think Paramount is a good one. If I had to choose something bigger, I probably would say Apple would be a good one, because Apple, like we saw with F1, who use Warner Brothers as a distributor for the theater, is a believer of the theatrical experience first before putting it on the stream platform. On top of that, the quality of shows that we've seen from Apple in the past 5 years have been extremely good and reminiscent of what we have come to know from the HBO series that we know and love. So I do think if there was a big company that was going to buy Warner Brothers, I think Apple would be the best one out of all of them.
I don't know. I feel like Apple, I think that would like seriously change the course of who Apple is, which is a technology, software, Internet of all things kind of company.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you take on, and they have had some hits for sure, but I feel like the streaming component as it is now has suffered from that because they can't put, it dilutes the brand a little bit of what Apple is all about. So that would be interesting. That would be interesting, but I think it would change things a lot. And then
more than Netflix buying it?
I think Netflix is just, they're in it. They're in entertainment. That's what they're all about right now.
Apple's been in entertainment for a while now.
They have.
They just won, like, their comedy won all the Emmy Awards, like, last week.
Yeah. I do, but I mean, I understand that, but
they're in the creator business now. Tim Cook was there, like, taking pictures, like he wrote the thing, He was like,
yes,
Emmys,
he has his own Emmy. Yeah.
Totally. Which was ironic because the studio is about how the studio heads want credit for the art.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's interesting though.
It's scary.
It is.
It is scary because, like I keep repeating, 2025 is such a theater going experience, just like with The Long Walk that I just watched. And so I really think if a streamer buys this, especially Netflix, who has been historically known for moving completely away from the theater, that is a very dangerous thing for movies. And I don't like it. On top of that, the movies that Netflix pumps out are built for straight to streaming. Yeah. So when you see the movies, like the color grading is weird sometimes. It looks like it was meant to be watched in your home. The storytelling doesn't need to be that sharp because it's going straight to streaming anyways. The actors get a huge paycheck from Netflix because Netflix has the money. It's going to continue to get worse. And so I get really scared that Netflix could be a buyer when it comes to Warner Brothers.
Yeah. No, I see that for sure. And I wouldn't be excited if Netflix bought Warner Brothers at all.
Yeah, don't do this.
Yeah. It's
okay.
Crazy.
All right. Well, that'll do it. Let's end on a good note, right?
So, wait, what? That wasn't good.
No, it was not good at all. It was not good at all. I do want to say happy 75th birthday to my dad. Today is his birthday. We're going to celebrate tomorrow. And
Papa
I can't
Bernstein?
wait to celebrate. Something like that. But yeah, sure. No, Papa Bernstein is a sadder story for another time. But no, this is my stepdad. This is the goat. This is the goat, the one that's been with me since the beginning. So
awesome.
Happy birthday, Dad. Can't wait to celebrate with you. What do you got going on? You got anything going on this weekend?
No, just got like a I don't know. It's not a barbecue, but like a potluck. Woo! I'm gonna go watch a show tonight, a musical tonight.
Oh, what do you see?
It's a little bit different. It's called Shucked.
Shucked?
Yeah, it's like about corn.
Okay.
I don't know anything about it, but I love the theater. I love the stage. So we're gonna go watch it.
That's awesome. Well, tell the people where it's at and what time so they can follow you. No, I'm just kidding.
No way.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, have a great weekend.
Thanks. You too. Thanks for having me on again.
Read some comics.
Don't have to tell me twice.
Right?
I got a whole.
To the audience, read
many
some
stacks.
comics.
Yes.
Get in touch with your ROM side.
Rom's
and
classic.
Go see a movie in the theaters because it might be the last time we're going to be able to in a long time. So go see a movie, please. The Long Walk is fantastic. And then One Battle After Another comes out next weekend. So I'm really excited for that. So
cool.
Thank you for being with us. Timmy, thank you for being in the chat.
Thanks,
Join
Timmy.
us next time. Rocky, as always, it is a pleasure having you on the show, my friend. I
Thanks.
enjoy your insight. I enjoy your work. Please go check out Rocky's show. It is at Rocky Inc. It is fantastic. Bring your popcorn because you're in for the long haul of what an artist goes through when they are creating. And it is really cool to see. So
Thanks so much. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Come join. I even started a Discord
Woo!
group too. You guys come join in that. I don't know what that's like tech over my head, but it's been a lot of fun. It's just building this community and talking more shop. So really fun.
That is fantastic. And be a part of the community here. We love to hear from you guys. We love these conversations. And this stuff is subjective. So even if you have a different opinion, please share it, because that is the best part about having these conversations, is being your mind open up to things you didn't necessarily think of. Even if you don't agree, as long as you respect each other, that's what it's all about. That's what this community is all about. And we want you to be here for every moment of it. So stay tuned next time. Have a great weekend, and we will see you guys later.
It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition.